Hi everybody, it's Julia from Matheson Travel coming to you again from San Francisco. Carl, the fog is rolling in, so I'm inside this week. When I was thinking about what I wanted to talk to you about this week, there was something that was just all over the news that's pretty hard to ignore, and that is Cuba. Between the embassy opening up last week, Obama pushing for more direct flights to Cuba this week. I mean, I even just saw an announcement that they're going to start charter flights from Los Angeles to Cuba. I know a lot of people are wondering, what's the deal? Can we go to Cuba? What are the new rules? And you may have a lot of questions. So I've, besides reading lots of articles, I was on a webinar and I've been checking some things out. So I wanted to give you kind of the skinny. First of all, they just announced that the number of visitors to Cuba from 2014 to 2015 in the month of June alone raised 20%. So people are starting to really go to Cuba. Obviously, other nations, not the US, already get to go to Cuba. But even in America, more and more tour operators are creating tours for you to be able to go. And it's really kind of gaining a lot of momentum, especially with all the changes this year. So it's still not legal for Americans to just go to Cuba and hang on the beach. You still have to have a license for one of 12 different reasons, and that's all controlled by the Office of, it's OFAC, I forget the exact name, it's a Homeland Security Division. But it's just easier to get one of these 12 licenses now than it was in 2014. But you still have a reason. The most common reason that Americans are able to go for is for person-to-person or people-to-people exchange, and that's an educational exchange. And like I said, there are a lot of tour operators that have already been, working in Cuba for years with international clients, but then there are a lot of American tour operators who are developing programs or have been in the region for a couple of years and, have experience, already have contacts with guides and hotels and everything like that, which is important because the more visitors start going, the fewer guides there are. So, the thing I learned, though, is these people-to-people exchange trips are not, they are mandated by the government, but they sound really, really interesting. In fact, you actually meet with and talk with a lot of different people, from the Cuban baseball players, little leaguers, to artists, ballet dancers, all kinds of different things. And it's not just, oh, fly to Havana and come back. There are lots of different itineraries to choose from. Most of them do include Havana because you would want to go to the capital, I suppose. But the other thing to know about those people-to-people trips is they are pretty intensive. They are 9 a.m. to 4 or 5 p.m. with lunch included, and so they're pretty busy. So the only real beach time you're gonna get is maybe in the afternoon. Once you're done, maybe at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, you can go hang out on some of the beaches for a little while, but you're not allowed to skip out on any of the activities and just go laze on the beach. So that's something important to know. Another thing, I found out that the hotels really are fairly, especially in the touristy or tourist frequented cities, the hotels really are pretty up to date. They're pretty modern with air conditioning and televisions and stuff like that. But the Wi-Fi is apparently not up to scratch. So you're not going to be posting to Facebook every other minute. And you still cannot use US-based credit cards. So you still have to have enough cash to cover your miscellaneous expenses and stuff like that. You can bring souvenirs back. You can bring about $400 worth of souvenirs back. Of that, 100 can be alcohol and tobacco. So you can bring $100 worth of your, either rum or Cuban cigars back home with you. But that's it, $400. And then the other thing I learned, which is not really a big deal if you're going to Caribbean anyway, you can't drink the water. So my tip from last week about making sure you buy a sealed water still stands. But I just wanted to let you know a little bit about the fact that you can go to Cuba. It's not impossible, and more people are doing it. And the kind of sense of urgency about it is that this could all change with the next election. And, we're all getting ready for the next presidential election. And depending on what happens, not only with president, but more so with the Congress, that is what could change it. Because you're not going to be able to just go to Cuba, until an act of Congress lifts the trade embargo. So that's what everyone's sort of waiting for. But in the meantime, if you want to go before it becomes completely changed, now is the time, and there are lots of options. So that's it for this week, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.